I'll say just honestly, just lock in, man.
What if for the next 6 months, you locked in and gave it everything you had?
Just lock on me for 6 months.
What would your life look like?
I really want you to be great.
How do you think you would feel? See, when people say it only takes a year, they aren't actually lying.
On the other end of suffering
is a life that many people don't know even exists.
Because for the first time in my life, I actually tried hard for a year, and because of that, I've seen pretty good results. I've gotten in the best shape of my life, I've grew my YouTube from 400 to 64k subscribers, and I feel the best I've ever felt about myself. And I'm not saying all of that to say, oh look how great I am, because trust me, I'm far from perfect and I still need to push myself a lot harder, but I'm saying it to just show you what's possible if you truly lock in. Because to be honest, if you look around you, it's truly not that difficult to be successful nowadays.
It is so easy to beat people today.
Like I heard Chris Williamson say, how there has never been a time where there is more opportunity
and a lower degree of competition.
Because how many people do you actually know who have a clear goal and are consistently working towards it? Not many, right? See, that's why I encourage you to lock in on whatever you're trying to achieve. Because in today's day and age, if you build your focus and work ethic, you're basically guaranteed to succeed.
No one can stick with anything. Everyone's distracted. They have no work ethic.
And the thing is, I genuinely believe anybody can be really successful if they were to actually try as hard as they could at their pursuits. But the thing is, most people don't want to do that. And that's where you can gain the advantage. And there's this really powerful speech I love from Earl Nightingale in the 1950s, where he talks about how the majority of people don't set themselves clear goals, so they ultimately don't know where they are going. And when I heard that, it made me think just how much more that actually applies to people nowadays. Because how are you ever meant to achieve success if you don't know what you are working towards? And he said how only 5% are successful because they set their goals and strive to realize them. And to him, a success was somebody who was progressively realizing a worthy ideal, meaning they were going after a goal that was worthy of them. See, that's why if you have a goal and just lock in with a tunnel vision towards it, you are genuinely so beyond the average person. And the reason most people don't have a clear direction they are working towards is because they are so distracted. They can't focus. Like, how are you ever meant to know the goals you really want to pursue when your mind is being dragged from Instagram to TikTok, back to Instagram, and then you have all these other distractions and events
that are taking away your time?
Like, most people just don't give themselves a chance to think. And that's why I encourage you to just give yourself some time to figure out what it is you really want.
What would you do if you weren't afraid?
Then set your sights on it.
I love thinking about that when I'm thinking about big life decisions.
And ruthlessly work towards it.
Like, what would I do if I weren't afraid?
Like, just recently I've took a huge risk. To me it's not huge because I have full belief it will work out. But if you didn't know me and just looked at this decision, you would think it's a pretty big one. See, around 2 weeks ago, I decided to drop out of a degree I was studying for a few years, and that's literally so that I can fully lock in and apply myself to my real goals. And quick disclaimer, I'm not encouraging you to do this, but I'm just giving you an example of my situation. And the reason I don't see this decision as a risk is because let's say it didn't work out. I could be content knowing I went for what I wanted and I gave it everything I possibly had. But the thing I couldn't be content with is down the line having to look back and be stuck thinking of all the what ifs and what could have beens if I had have really tried. And that is something I'm not willing to have to look back and do, because I truly believe you can achieve anything you set your mind to if you are truly disciplined and work as hard as you can at it. And I've had to realize recently that the pain of doing difficult tasks is never actually going to disappear, because that's the price you have to pay in order to grow and get better. And recently there's this stupid phrase I've been saying in my head the last few weeks that's actually been effective in helping me just start into difficult tasks I don't want to do. And that's the saying, it is what it is. And I know you're laughing right now at how dumb that sounds, but the reason it's been helping me confront the pain of starting hard tasks is because it's allowed me to realize that the only way I'm actually able to progress forward in my goals and just grow as a person in general is to confront the pain. It is what it is. You cannot change the price you have to pay in order to grow, so you have to just suck it up and get on with it. And right after this video, grab a pen and paper and write down, or at a minimum, think to yourself about what it is you really want to achieve over these next few months. Then set a specific time of day to work on these goals and consistently discipline yourself to do this every day, even if it's only for an hour. Because if you're doing something every day, it at least means you are still being consistent and it will begin to develop into a habit for you. It's that simple. Because Dan Coe says your future will be determined by the actions you take on a daily basis. And brother, with all the opportunities out there, don't hold yourself back with all the distractions and just commit and attack your goals. Because I've said it so many times, but the future version of yourself will be so grateful. So if you can't do it for yourself, do it for him. And I know how cringe or cliche this might sound, but from my previous videos, you already know how much I used to lack discipline and procrastinate, and that's why if I can turn it around, so can you. And there's this great Greg Plitt audio I've been listening to recently that's really been helping me change the way I think. I'm paraphrasing, but he basically says, why as people are we always thinking about losing? Why are we always putting our time and attention on the possibility of failure? Why can't we just erase that mentality and think of how great it's going to feel when we win something, when we put the work in and achieve it? He says, why are we always putting our time and attention into our fears and the worst case scenarios instead of putting all that energy into the dreams that could be? And he talks about putting in the work now so that in the future we don't have to stay awake wondering what if. And when I heard him speak on this topic, it lit a fire in me, because it's just natural for us to think of the worst case scenarios and what will happen if we lose. But just think of the confidence and the positive energy you would feel by flipping that mentality on its head and thinking, yeah, I can do this. It might be hard, but if I put in the work, I know I can achieve it. Because he who says he can and he who says he can't are both right. And don't feel bad if some days you slip up, because like you, I'm human and still have many days where I could have tried a lot harder. But just make sure to keep consistent, because remember, nobody is going to come and put in the work for us. It's really just up to how bad we want to succeed. Good luck with whatever you're pursuing, brother, and leave a comment down below explaining the best thing you have learned over this last month. It can range from something you learned from a book, heard on a podcast, something you just realized, or any concept or idea that's been helping you grow recently. And I'm going to pin the comment of my favorite one. And remember to be confident that it will all work out, because if God is for us, who can be against us? As always, through hard work we grow. Peace.
Nowadays, people just don't even want to work no more, bro. But like, people don't want to genuinely work. That's just going to separate you from everybody else.
Yes.